Hello, everybody! You all are in for a treat because I am slowly being killed by my allergies, and so I have no voice and cough a lot. Therefore, to spite me, it's going to pick Nekomaru.
Now, Billy, you must understand. For like 4 straight FTEs, we have called that it's going to be Nekomaru. Now, it's true. Eventually, it's going to be. But how is that prediction any different from any of our previous predictions?
It's not. That's why I'm making it.
That's pretty sound, actually. I thought you were going to say something like, because now would be the worst time. It would be Kafomaru Nidai.
Yeah, but I don't want to, admit it or anything. That's not how reverse psychology works.
I swear these predictions are so complicated, it's like time travel. Very well. 4 girls, 2 guys, 1 Billy. Who's it gonna be? Look, I know that's not so dramatic. You know who it is. But we don't. You clicked on this video, you know exactly who it's going to end up being. There's no suspense for you, but there's suspense for us. It's gonna be Sonia. Took her out immediately. Uh-oh.
No. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And Mikan, huh?
Maybe. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
I just wanted to say, I'm not sorry it finally picked me. I'm not sorry. I'm not.
I wonder what it means that the ultimate nurse was picked when I'm so sick.
That's right. Billy, do you feel bad? I can give you a shot. If you don't feel well, let me know. I'll give you lots of shots. Lots and lots of shots.
I'm not going into the storage room with you.
Before we go on, something that I really wanted to say that I think is actually really important about Mikan. If you remember from the LP, it's no secret that early on she was by far my favorite character because she's just so silly. And I was very, very, very sad when it looked like what she became was what she claimed to have always been, which was essentially a sociopath.
Right.
At the time, the only way we could take that was straight. I was very disappointed, but didn't know exactly what I was seeing. How could we know?
We hadn't had all that information revealed to us yet.
Right. What had actually happened is that she got her memories back, as in memories from the present, and reverted to her absolutely awful ultimate despair persona, if you will. And that was just so shocking and revolting to see. She always seemed as though she had a tenuous grasp on reality.
I referenced the Stephen King novel Misery, in which a nurse kidnaps someone and kind of holds them hostage because of their own infatuations pretty early on in the LP.
I actually think that's probably kind of accurate, even if you take out the ultimate despair stuff. It's like she's hanging on by a thread and has no confidence and has had legitimately awful things happen to her, or has just had the darkest thoughts. In any case, it's no surprise that she became ultimate despair. I mean, for crying out loud, in like her first or second FTE, she's like, "Don't hate me, do you want me to take off my clothes?
Do you want me to give you money,
Like, what? What sort of a poor human being would say that? So I have really been looking forward to these, because now we know that everyone had that side.
Everyone had that darkness.
That was, in fact, the point of this whole game. So I do think that my take on Mikan during that trial, I mean, yeah, it was wrong. It was based on information we didn't have. I mean, I think I accurately described the way she was, but at that time,
Right.
But the same thing would apply to every other character except for Chiaki.
Right.
So I'm really interested to get a look at Mikan before Ultimate Despair kicks in. It's still likely to be miserable, but it's like, does she have a personality at all? I don't mean to say she's uninteresting, like far from it. I'm saying, is she just a high-strung mess of of low confidence, social pressure, trying to please everyone around her based on fear?
Or is there more to her, like hidden underneath all that?
Yeah, I'm really interested. All right, Mikan, let's rock.
Oh, look at me.
Yeah, I know. Suffer, Billy. Suffer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hajime Hinata.
That's exactly the way you sounded during the LP. What's gonna happen to us now? I am extremely worried, but I never thought it'd be so calming to have someone next to me. She was totally stalking Hajime.
Of course she was. Of course she was.
And really, she was only stalking him because he was nice to her.
100%.
What sort of a sad person has never had anybody be nice to her?
Well, when you consider that in the mystery murder Twilight Syndrome situation, Hiyoko was the boss of that group.
Well, Hiyoko would naturally kind of gravitate towards that sort of role where you're just beating everybody up. But I don't think that Mikan actually really specifically had a problem with Hiyoko.
No. This sort of deep-seated thing would have been way before she even came across Hiyoko and the others.
Right, like Hiyoko, she was extremely mean to Mikan, but she was extremely mean to everybody. Mikan was just a perfect target, and the reason that she was the perfect target is not only was she derpy and ditzy, but that was like the relationship that Mikan expects. Mm-hmm. Her being bullied by Hiyoko, now, I'm not saying it's a good thing,
right?
But her being bullied by Hiyoko is actually the relationship she expects to have with other people, and it validates her own sense of her own lack of self-worth. So wouldn't that actually be like a normal thing for her?
Yes, I was just poking fun at Hiyoko. Why you gotta be all analytical? Who do you think we are, BSG?
Because I have to be extremely defensive of Hiyoko, that's why.
Duly noted! Man, I was just trying to make a joke, but you, oh, that was good.
I guess I have to be pretty defensive of Mikan, too. The last thing I'll say before we get going, when we found out, I mean, we didn't say it in the episodes, but when it sank in about ultimate despair, I was actually really relieved. I was really relieved for Mikan. Because I didn't want Mikan to be a crazy sociopath.
Yeah.
To be fair, everyone was a crazy sociopath, but I didn't want that to be like her prime self, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really, really glad that that's not the case.
I spent time today relaxing at the park with Mikan because that's the only place we ever go, except for the storage room. And if she invites me to go to the storage room, I shall respectfully decline.
Do you want me to take off my clothes?
I'm sure if you did, Monomi would explode.
That might not be a bad call.
She's got spares. It won't do anything in the long run.
Oh, you gave me a flask. It's a present! No one ever gives me presents! I'll treat this like the most important thing I've ever gotten!
Oops, smash!
The most important thing I've ever owned! You destroyed it! Well, I guess it's only natural. About before, when I think I was trying to prostitute myself to appease you.
It doesn't really matter. I'm sorry I had a weird attitude too.
You didn't do anything wrong. You were being nice. It was all my fault.
Well, technically speaking, you were being nice too.
That's definitely it.
Well, I'm trying to say it was my fault, so...
You're not sorry! I'm sorry!
I'm not getting into this conversation with you.
Huh? Billy, you look pale.
Well, I may actually be sick, so,
I guess Hajime does too.
Huh? Really? Are you sure you're not mixing me up with Billy?
No, I'm not sure of that at all. Yeah, your blood circulation looks worse than usual.
You can tell that by looking at my skin? Usual? Do you normally measure my blood circulation? Like when I'm sleeping or something? Ibuki! You left the door unlocked again!
Have you been eating breakfast? Have you been getting enough sleep? How are your electrolyte levels?
Well, I've been eating somewhat, but I guess I'm not getting enough sleep.
You mean you don't get enough sleep on this creepy island where we're all trapped in a killing game with a robot stuffed bear?
Go figure.
I understand you can't help it since we're in this situation, but try to avoid consuming any stimulants before you sleep. Take deep breaths and do some light stretching. Avoid electronics. Wear blue light goggles.
I'll keep that in mind.
Little things like that should help with the quality of your sleep. You should keep the room cold and dark.
I'll keep my door locked.
No! You can't keep your door locked! Then my alibi! I mean, then you won't be able to share your illness.
How generous.
If you don't get enough sleep, it can weaken your immune system and lead to various illnesses.
Oh, maybe I'm not getting enough sleep. That's why I'm sick.
See, Billy? I am the ultimate nurse! Now let me give you a shot.
No.
Well, anyway, please be careful. Is something the matter?
No, I'm just a little surprised. I don't know why I'm surprised that you're giving out health advice, but I am Hajime, so...
She's actually quite diligent, works really hard.
Yeah.
She's selfless, but I mean, I don't think her selflessness necessarily... But I think her selflessness comes from an entirely bad place.
Like a survival instinct, kind of. She feels like she has to be, so is it really selflessness?
Like, I'm worthless, so I don't deserve to have any attention paid to me.
Yeah.
I have to give everything that I am to other people. It should also be said, though she demonstrated this, as she was murdering people, but she actually was quite crafty and, really pretty clever. Billy, oh no! I had better give you a shot right away!
No, it's fine. That's often the case with a lot of people who get picked on. They're quiet, reserved, but they're actually pretty smart. And that's often a reason why they get picked on.
Maybe.
At least in my experience.
I guess the way I'm looking at it is, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but do not underestimate the animal cunning of the desperate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was acting competent and giving advice commensurate with my position. I'm sorry. I'm not incompetent. I forgot to get a hold of myself again. I'll go hide behind that tree and not say a word for 15 years. Will that make up for it? Also, I can give you all of the mono coins I've collected, as well as other people's underwear.
What?
I'm terribly sorry.
You're wrong. You're amazing. As expected of the ultimate nurse.
Oh, it's not that big of a deal. I'm just skilled at reading people's faces and their blood circulation through the veins in their nose. I've been like this ever since I was young.
Oh? You've been abused so often that you've gotten really good at reading people's expressions?
I'm sorry I'm a victim. I'd get beaten up at school and at home a lot. I bet you never saw that coming. Since nobody would treat me when I was hurt, I just did it myself. And practice makes perfect, so eventually I got good at it.
That's terrible. And completely unsurprising, but to that degree? Jeez.
I was just thinking about Akane. it seems as though Mikan and Akane are the people who have had the most legitimately awful lives. I'd say Nagito too, but he is just straight up twisted.
You also don't know how much of what he's saying is freaking legit.
Yeah. But consider this, Mikan and Akane were straight up abuse victims.
100%!
And they ended up in the same place as someone like Kazuichi.
It's kind of impressive.
Yeah, that's kind of makes Kazuichi look bad, but then again, I suppose the place they ended up in was literally rock bottom, so it's not like it could have gotten any worse, but it's amazing that they put up the fight that they did.
That's true, and when you look at them, they're kind of opposites in how they came about at the end before they became ultimate,
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
before they became despair.
Yeah, absolutely. Akane...
brimming with positivity and confidence.
And straightforwardness.
And Mikan's the opposite.
Yeah, no confidence.
Mousy.
Only negativity. Jeez, what the heck happened to her? That's really all it is.
But I think you have an amazing talent for helping people. I mean, even now, you noticed right away that I wasn't feeling well, right? You even noticed Billy and you can't even see his ugly mug. So, thank you for caring about me.
For the record, I don't care about Billy.
I don't care about you either. Take that, Mikan.
I always treated myself for my own sake. But one day, I realized something. Sick people and injured people are weaker than even me.
Huh?
I mean, if you ignore a sick or injured person, they won't be able to endure the pain. I would know. And if worse comes to worse, they could even die, right? But if I know the proper way to treat them, that means my words are absolute, which means they'll need me. They'll depend on me completely. I like that novel, Misery. It accurately describes my life. That's why I can't leave the sick and injured alone, because they are the only things that validate my existence. Come, let me hurt you, so that I can love myself.
We hurt the ones we love?
Because they always listen to what I say, instead of ignore me like every other time.
I thought I was slowly starting to understand Mikan little by little, but I guess I was completely wrong.
I'm not healthy on the inside. Somebody help me. Do you want me to take off my clothes? Hajime, I said something unnecessary again.
Quite a few things, yes, but go on.
I'm sorry. And I realize this is the opposite of escalation, but you want me to buy you something to drink?
Yeah, I was gonna say, compared to everything else she's offered to do, that's pretty normal and tame.
Yeah, like you could actually just take her up on this and not feel bad. Oh, I know. I'm also really good at imitating a sea turtle when she's about to lay eggs.
What does that mean?
You want to see it? It's really good.
I wouldn't have a frame of reference to judge. No, you really don't have to do that.
But if you see it, you'll be hypnotized by its beauty. Why don't you want to see it? I'm good at it. Well, if you don't feel well, I'll take care of you with all my might.
No, I'm fine. In fact, I'm suddenly really energetic. All of a sudden, feeling I've just completely mangled that line. That's how fine I am.
But haven't you seen what happens to the patients in my care?
Yes.
They're in such good shape. Oh, Well, I'm glad to hear that you're suddenly feeling better, but I can't help but notice by the sweat on your brow and your pale face that you're probably lying.
If I show her any weakness, it'll be the end of me.
Listen to what I have to say.
I'm afraid. I kept talking to Mikan and avoided talking about illnesses. I was exhausted when I got back to my room, but I couldn't show any weakness.
So not only were you sick, but you became sicker by talking to the nurse.
Yes.
Illnesses should be shared. Oh yes, I remember that. Taking on other people's debt and letting people throw darts at her. In some cases, you can also use this to demonstrate your morbidity or cruelty.
Seems legit. The icon makes me think of toilet paper.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll treasure this for the rest of my life. I was out of toilet paper. I've always got plenty of bandages, though. Oh, for the rest of my life, I will never wash this hand of mine that received a gift from Hajime.
Please do.
Oh, my life is complete. Are you going to talk to me again today?
That's how this works, yes.
Oh, Hajime, you're looking sick.
Mikan must be slowly opening up to me if she's actually asking me that, I think to myself naively.
No, in all seriousness, that is true. I wonder if she's ever really had people be nice to her.
Surely the other two members of their little group were nice to her, and many of the other people here treated her kindly.
Yeah, it's sad to say, and it's not to deny the sheer amount of misery that she's suffered, but I know this sounds kind of callous, but a lot of that self-image is really, it's really all in her head.
Mm.
I mean, that's not to blame her. But,
Yeah. The only one who can stop that is her.
And you know, the first two chapters of the game really did build up quite a lot of people all having fun together, you know?
Yeah.
Wonder if she's ever actually going to talk about what happened. Well,
probably about as much as anyone else has.
No, I just wonder if she's going to talk about, like, the same stuff Akane did. Or if she's just going to kind of dance around everything because she doesn't really want to.
Regardless, I still feel nervous trying to think of something to talk to her about.
I'm so sorry! I lost control of myself and said whatever I wanted. It was unwarranted for me to assume that someone like you would ever want to talk to someone like me, or to make those strange laughy smiley sounds that indicate that I'm happy. I'm sorry I showed you happiness.
Oh my god, it's okay. No, it's fine. Asking someone if they want to talk is totally normal.
It's totally normal for a totally normal person, but I am scum. But you were making a face like there's nothing to talk to her about, and I always feel nervous every time I try to talk to her.
Well, frankly, that's my problem, not yours.
No, it's my fault! I'm sorry you have problems that in no way stem from me, but I'll take responsibility for them because I'm surely to blame.
She's pretty perceptive, in some ways. Changing the subject probably won't work on her.
Just as I thought. I'm a nuisance.
No, it's true, I was worrying about what to talk to you about, but I wasn't bothered by that or anything. In fact, we're talking about what I wanted to talk to you about, so in a way, that itself is something to
I'm
talk to you.
sorry,
Oh
you
my
have
God.
no idea what you're saying!
Besides, if I thought you were a nuisance, I never would have talked to you from the start. You're going to take completely the wrong thing away from that, aren't you?
No one's ever said that to me before.
I believe that. With every fiber of my being.
I mean, her reactions to everything are just so ridiculous. Thank you very much.
I'm glad. Looks like she finally understands what I was trying to say.
Can I ask you about something?
As long as it's not my medical condition, go right ahead. I don't mind.
Hajime, did you like school?
Immediate, Vietnam flashback to Hajime's school.
I just was thinking about the stuff we saw in the murder mystery, whatever it was called.
Nightmare Syndrome, Pizza Style,
Twilight Syndrome Murder Mystery?
Twilight Syndrome Murder Mystery. I don't know, let's go ask Chiaki for the actual name. She'll know. She'll summarize it for us.
I don't want her to summarize that! Well, I was going to say that she saw some pretty awful stuff, but how much worse is it than what she's already seen?
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad, but it's like something bad happening to Akane. Are you kidding? She's been through way worse.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what the heck happened with Mikan's home life, you know?
Lord only knows.
Was she treated like a dog and locked in her room?
Pig barf, something, I don't know. You mean before I entered Hope's Peak Academy? Well, let's see, I didn't really like it or hate it. Well, actually, I don't think I liked it all that much.
I feel the same way. This is my first time feeling something like fun. Please be gentle.
I believe that with every fiber of my being.
I felt that for the first time after I met you all.
Well, right now, we're not really at school.
Even so, we're all working together and focusing on the same goal. Although your own grades aren't exactly the same goal. Anyway, for the first time I learned that is very fun. I don't know what human connections are. Hajime, I'm glad I came to this island. It is a paradise. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Pity me! Because we're in this situation, everyone is finally acknowledging me. And I finally feel useful.
Thanks to this irrational, hopeless, dangerous situation, I never thought I'd meet someone who actually thought about our situation like that other than that psychopath Nagito.
Huh. You know, I used to get run over all the time. Like, if I'd be talking to someone, I'd just get interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one would ever let me make my point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm aware that my own memories of this are really colored by my feelings about them more so than probably what factually occurred.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to be able to tell how much this actually happened to me, or if it happened more or less, or even if I did the same thing that I'm complaining about, because, you know,
memories are tricky.
That's how people work. But it used to just infuriate me when I had something to say and nobody would ever let me get it out. Well, I've blown up about it a few times. Well, just thinking about this and like those feelings at those times, I guess I'm just saying that I kind of relate to what Mikan means. It's not like I'm trying to compare my own experiences to hers, but I actually do understand what it's like feeling like you're under everybody's boot.
Mm-hmm.
Not being under everybody's boot.
But feeling like you are.
Yeah. You know, what Mikan has said over and over and over is she just wants to be valued by people in like a small way and to actually be heard and acknowledged. And even now, it feels like sometimes I really have to fight to be acknowledged. Mm. I mean, it's probably made me more forceful than perhaps I ought to be, but The more I think about it, the more I really do sympathize with her. I suppose it relates to one's self-worth, but it's like a personality trait more than anything else. So regardless of whatever she's actually gotten in relations or interactions with other people, what she wants is just a degree of acknowledgement, and so it's like she's never satisfied unless she gets that. I mean, hell,
95% of every relationship I've ever had in my life was in her position, being the butt of jokes and the bootlicker.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
I'm actually kind of surprised you haven't talked about that, but I guess you are pretty sick.
I am very sick and it hurts to talk, so yes.
That's why we're recording a video! Not really sure how to articulate this in a way that I'm satisfied with, but even now, for me, I'm less interested in convincing other people to my point of view than I am interested in other people acknowledging that my point of view is valid. I could almost care less if you agree with me.
Because a common debating tactic, if you could call it that, is for you to just hammer your own point and completely ignore the other person's.
Yeah.
And that doesn't get anyone anywhere.
Specifically, it does actually make it feel like literally no one is listening to you. Man, now I'm starting to get even more sad for Mikan. Hey, Hajime.
Yes.
Do you know where you should target someone if you want to effectively torture them?
I don't know where this topic came from. Have you been talking to Sonia?
No, this is the sort of thing I think about myself. Just to check, your door is unlocked, right?
No. What the fuck? It looks like I really have to answer this. Stomach, I assume.
I think head.
Well, I don't really have any sort of... That's just the first instinct. My gut instinct, if you will.
Your gut instinct?
I can still pun while I'm sick. If I can't ever pun, consider me dead. Is it... stomach?
If you target that, you might kill them right away if you make a mistake. You can't torture people's stomach. Even if you were trying to torture them by feeding them really bad-tasting things that are sort of considered food, that doesn't target the stomach, that targets their sense of taste. Don't you know how to make other people suffer?
No! Well, isn't the same thing true about the head? I guess the correct answer is I don't know! There's no way I know that!
It's simple. It's torture. You can target anywhere, really.
What? Then why wasn't my answer valid?
You have to have a nice, gentle touch. As long as you avoid fatal areas like the head and stomach, there are areas that aren't fatal, but still very painful, such as the shoulders and back. The back is especially nice because you can't see your own back, so your imagination kicks in as you imagine seeing the things that match the sensations that you're feeling.
Didn't I mention this with the Punisher?
Yeah, you did.
In that comic with the Punisher where he made the guy think that he was blowtorching his back, but he actually wasn't because he was describing the sensations and then replicating them with other things?
I'm the Punisher! Does that mean I get to be a popular Marvel superhero? I actually, on a recent episode of Econ Talk, which how many times have I said that, honestly?
2 or 3.
The guest was talking about a back surgery procedure where you inject saline into a certain part of their back, which isn't really going to do anything, and then you open a box of concrete so they can smell it. Now, I don't mean you open the box and point it in front of their face. It's like you're doing this stuff where they can't see it, and part of it is to open the concrete so they can smell the concrete. Patients who receive that procedure report an identical level of improvement and decrease in pain as if receiving a procedure that should technically, quote-unquote, do something.
There's that placebo effect again.
The placebo effect is not something to be underestimated.
Dang.
You know, you might ask yourself, is that an ethical procedure to do? And neither the host of the show nor the guy describing the doctors doing the procedure, like they were saying, well, you know, I don't think it actually is an ethical thing to do. Because it seems like there's some inherent level of deception. But
if it works.
But it achieves results.
Yeah. Huh. That's a tricky wicket.
It just shows you the psychological aspect of medicine.
Back to talking about torture.
You can punch and kick those areas, or even put a cigarette on them for a quick, nasty burn.
Okay.
If you do it on the same place enough times, it leaves a scar. I know this for a fact. Do you want to see mine? Repeatedly. Over and over. Like Damon said. But right now, at this very moment, nobody is trying to do that to me. It's confusing. I don't know how to live that life. Because of that, this place is like heaven to me.
I want to find her family and punch them all in the face.
I doubt we'll find out anything about her family, but inevitably, this is their fault.
100%!
We've seen the way that other people treat her. I mean, Hiyoko bullying her and calling her pig barf, yeah, it's mean, but...
She doesn't do this!
Not only that, but, you know, like I said in the Hiyoko FTEs, I have personal experience with this. You have way more experience with this than I do. A lot of times, not all the time, okay? But if you haven't been in this situation, you don't really understand. A lot of times, awkward kids who don't know how to communicate with someone bully people they want to be friends with.
Yeah.
It doesn't make everything about it okay.
If that's all they know, if that's the only way they understand how bonds are formed.
Like, it's the only way they know how to get attention. Like, you have to pay attention to me if I'm being mean to you. You can't avoid me.
Yeah. Miserable.
It is miserable. I'm pretty sure that's the kind of result that Hiyoko was going for with Mikan. Like, here is a person who's so weak and pathetic, she won't judge me. So if I pay attention to her, she'll be forced to pay attention to me. That's being friends, right? And that's what I take out of the whole pig barf thing. Because
that makes sense.
Because there's a lot of difference between pig barf and not being punched and kicked repeatedly.
Or
good lord.
Putting cigarettes out on. Mikan.
Hajime, this is the first time I've ever talked about my feelings like this with someone, so please don't hate me. That inward-looking, nothing is ever enough kind of self-devaluation, a lot of that is entirely intrinsically personality-based. Akane was essentially, as far as we can tell, in the exact same situation as Mikan.
Yeah.
Okay? Akane turned into a don't run the red light, try to take care of all the squawking little kids that are going to be dying around me because, I mean, I don't want to see that. And just look forward, empty your head.
Punch life in the face.
Punch life in the face and make it submit to you. It's like, it's a much better coping mechanism, but it just goes to show that they're different personalities. Yeah. Because if Akane would have had a different personality, she could have just turned into Mikan. In those FTEs, we talked about how Akane was probably, that wasn't really going to get her very far, but it would get her to a point.
In a way, Mikan's like the opposite of Akane, because Akane's scared of weakness, but Mikan is weakness.
They really are the exact same character.
But different extremes of the same coin.
Yeah, it's like their situation is much the same, their approach to it is different, but it's deeply distressing. And, like, they're actually, like, crying out for help constantly. In a way, aren't they kind of like the avatars of ultimate despair?
Kind of, yeah.
That's an interesting idea.
I won't. There's no way I'll hate you.
Thank you.
It's not your fault. It's not Mikan's fault.
It isn't.
That's definitely for certain. No matter what anyone says, there's no denying it.
And applying this to, what comes in the future.
Forgive me.
Yeah. Again, at the time, we did not understand. Like, I thought that she became a sociopath because of what happened to her, and that's what she was.
Yeah.
And that was understandable, but that doesn't
That was
mean,
how it was framed.
But that doesn't mean that you get to, forgive the person with the highest body count in the first two Danganronpa games. But that was like the ultimate despair self. That was Mikan after
Junko had gotten her claws in her.
Yes.
She was probably one of the most susceptible to Junko.
Yes.
The most susceptible person to Junko.
All Junko has to do
more so
is
than Nagito.
Yes.
Nagito's a close second though.
All you would have to do to get Mikan, I mean, you could easily manipulate her. Very susceptible to predatorial behavior because she's practically screaming out all the time, "This is how you can control me." And that was never what she wanted.
As I watched Mikan smile, I kept telling myself that over and over in my mind. I parted ways with Mikan and returned to my room by myself to frickin' cry.
I'm sorry.
When the ultimate imposter, a man who had nothing, who started with nothing, turns out to be more sane than Nagito and more well-adjusted than Mikan, I think that kind of says something.
Not just who had it worse, but how you respond to it, and how you have no choice but to respond to certain things in a certain way. In a lot of ways, Danganronpa 2 is kind of about how different people process trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say the first game is like that, but this one I think it is.
This one kind of hinges on that.
Even people like Teru or Kazuichi, who have a thoroughly normal life, who haven't suffered nearly as much as some others, like the level of suffering they had was enough that, considering how they took it, sort of helped determine, what happened to them. And I'm not trying to draw some really simple conclusion, but that's a really poignant observation, about that suffering. Sometimes what people think they want, the things that would help them, recover or get some level of validation, the psychological effects that they think they want or think they need, sometimes it's a terrible idea. But sometimes it's actually right. In Mikan's case, I think that other people actually acknowledging her, treating her well, and talking to her, which is really all she wants, I think that's actually exactly
what she needs.
Yeah, how she'd be able to move forward. And that too is pretty sad. It's like the difference between Hajime being nice to Mikan, which makes her feel really happy, and Junko preying on Mikan, which probably also made her feel happy and anti-happy because of that weird
despairophile
cult charisma. Perhaps more so than any of the other characters, Junko's preying on Mikan strikes me as exceptionally evil, exceptionally awful.
Not that anyone was extolling Junko's virtues in the first place. Here we go. Her silence seems different than usual. She looks like she's staring into space, which is her normal expression. Hey, Mikan? Is something wrong?
Oh, Hajime! When did you get here? Was it before or after you gave me the present?
I've been talking to you for a while now.
I'm sorry, I didn't notice! Really? Are you sure? Well, I'm sorry for saying something so rude, and you're mad, right? You normally get mad right now, right? about this before and he'd definitely get mad.
No, there's no way I'd get mad about something like this.
Is that normal?
Mikan, my dear, you should take what you consider normal human reactions and relations and throw it out the flipping window because they're not.
Is that really okay? Why? Why isn't anyone pouring water on me or throwing mud at me? Does everyone hate me or something? Why hasn't anyone taken my things? What did I do wrong? Is that why everyone isn't doing anything to me? Because I did something wrong?
Oh my god. You're still talking like that?
God, poor thing.
All she knows is negative attention.
She's just broken. And I don't mean that in like a malicious way.
Yeah. It's not like that. People aren't doing anything to you because they don't hate you.
What? But doesn't that mean that they actually don't care whether I exist or not?
That is a terrible metric to measure things by.
Earlier I was talking about, I was just being sympathetic to the bullying idea that Hiyoko was doing. I mean, that isn't really a healthy behavior. It's just the motivations behind it aren't always bad.
Yeah.
And I think that in her case, in Hiyoko's case, it wasn't a bad motivation, even if it wasn't the right way to act. But you can't take from that you should be bullied.
Yeah.
Because that's how people express that they care about you. That is the wrong way to go.
That's an even worse reason.
Yes. Nobody cares about me.
Maybe what scares Mikan the most isn't violence or being hated.
It's being ignored. It's not being there.
Maybe it's when nobody's interested in her at all. I see. So that's why Mikan has been trying to avoid that, no matter what.
If you'll do anything for anyone, then they have to acknowledge that you're there. It's so sad.
I can't believe I finally realized that. What's wrong with me? Hey, Mikan, of course everyone cares about you. Because you're uniquely you.
I don't know. That sounds like syrupy, sweet humanist propaganda meant to make me lower my guard.
Stop looking at people's faces all the time and try looking at yourself more. Take a step back and pay more attention to your surroundings and to yourself. Because you're just like everyone else. You're a friend.
Yeah, that's probably true. Not the you're our friend part, but, I mean, that is true, but that she is hyper-focusing on others, but not in a kind way or a positive way, or rather a healthy way.
A healthy way, yeah.
But in a self-denying way. That's what she's doing, is focusing on others in a way that damages herself.
Yeah.
And what she needs to do...
Stop doing that.
Friend... What's that? Me? And everyone else? Is that even possible?
That's what I believe. You don't believe me?
No, of course I do. If there's anybody that I'll listen to, it's people who keep talking to me and being nice to me. They have to be right. Thank you very much. I want to believe in you.
だってあなたは私を許してくれた人だから。
I know it's difficult to change all at once, but I really want her to change little by little.
Also, for everybody here, outside of Nagito, of course, she's probably the person that would have the hardest time to recover.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe Peko.
Yeah.
At least in the case of Hiyoko, faking confidence and bluster is still fake and it's still bluster. but at least you are acting in a way as if that confidence was true. It doesn't mean that you're not damaged, but at least you are acting in a way as if you were less damaged than you are. And that is a more positive behavior. Someone like what our current perception of Peko is.
Yeah.
She's probably really, really deeply traumatized as well.
Well, she went all full on, I am just a robot, you know?
Right, and we don't really know because as you could see from that screen right there, we've only done 2 of her FTEs. For someone who's so, maybe the word I should use is systematic, like Mikan, who's like constructed a version of reality that has its own rules, she would probably have the hardest time letting go of those rules to try and see things in a different way compared to everybody else. Like, alongside Nagito, at least, she probably is, like, the most damaged person here.
That's what I felt when I looked at Mikan's smile. I could feel a strong bond between Mikan and myself. If possible, I want to watch over her just a little longer, even after we leave this island.
Even after we leave this island, huh? Well, that's about the only way to actually help her, the poor thing.
Mm-hmm. Because it's not Mikan's fault at all.
In the end, we never found out what her home life was like, but
we found out enough.
That's the origin of this. Whatever her personality is, however likely she is to take behaviors in certain ways, you don't get this broken.
Yeah, just from being picked on at school.
Yeah, you have to have been raised in a certain type of way. Even something as simple as not getting enough attention from her parents is not likely to produce this outcome. It's got to be much worse than that.
I can speak from experience that don't help.
Well, yeah.
But I agree. Hello, nurse.
I'm sorry, I'm actually the ultimate health committee member and not a nurse. I ruined the achievement and I ruined your gag.
Hello, health committee member. Didn't quite have the same ring to it.
I'm sorry, I ruined the second step too by not having the actual material be suitable for a gag. It's all my fault.
It's not your fault at all. Silent massage.
If only you could have seen the karate chop poses that Billy was taking. Classic. White.
After an enjoyable conversation with Mikan, I went back to my room.
Such a thing is possible? That's good.
Mikan's favorite panties. She often gets the wrong size, so these are a little small.
It helps for my special poses that make people like me.
I see. She does those on purpose. They're actually carefully constructed accidents.
Well, I did say she has some guile.